The village of Calthwaite lies just to the west of the M6 and A6, roughly halfway between Penrith and Carlisle. At the start of the 20th century, the population was around 250, with a school and a railway station. But the locals still had no church. In 1867, the vicar of Heskett in the Forest had written to the bishop saying that a church at Calthwaite would provide for up to 500 people. A new church at this point, he said, would fill a void that has been greatly felt for many years. But it would be nearly half a century before anything was done. During this time, the villagers would have to travel several miles to the nearest churches for services. After the building of the village school in the second half of the 19th century, divine services were held in the schoolroom each week. In 1908, a new assistant curate arrived on the scene, and he was instrumental in pushing for a church to be built. Another major factor was the provision by the Board of Education of new desks for the schoolroom. This made it a very uncomfortable place for adults to sit for worship. And in the second decade of the 20th century, the village finally got its church. A huge fundraising drive was carried out, raising the money needed in just a few years, roughly £200,000 in today's money. In September of 1911, a bazaar was held, which was so successful it raised over a sixth of the total amount. The land was given by Mr. Joseph Harris of Brackenburgh Tower, along with the largest single donation to the funds. The foundation stone was laid on the 17th of April 1913, and the finished building was consecrated on Friday the 5th of December that same year. The architect was J. H. Martindale of Carlisle, and it was built by T. Lothian and Sons of Plumpton. In the end, it came in under budget. This was to be the last village church to be built in the diocese, ending a long string of new churches that started during the Victorian era. It was a simple, modern building, using hard Lazenby sandstone, topped with slate from Buttermere. Inside, the roof trusses are pine, with a stone floor from Brownrigg Quarry. The oak choir stalls, a lectern, and 2 angels were produced by George Fendley of Carlisle. The angels look down over the sanctuary from the ends of the roof beams. Probably the most interesting feature of the church is the unique opera box-style pulpit in the north wall. It's accessed by an entry to the east side, and was still in use in the early 21st century, though it's currently used as a storage space. Less than a year after the new church was completed, Europe was plunged into war. Like everywhere else, this touched the lives of the locals. At the start of 1921, a war memorial was erected at the east end of the church. It remembers the 58 men from the parish who served in the Great War, including the 12 who were killed in action. By the late 1950s, the chairs that had been installed in the church when it opened were badly worn, and in 1958 they were replaced by pews. These, along with a credence table and reading desk, were made from idigbo, a West African hardwood that's a cheaper alternative to oak. The choir stalls were moved from the east side of the pulpit, above the chancel step, to stand to the west of the pulpit. Following a number of failed petitions over the years, the church was finally licensed for marriages in 1971. During the 1990s, the children of the village school worked with a local artist to create a series of clay nativity figures. These still make regular appearances for Christmas. In 2008, local artist Dawn Hurton worked with the villagers to create a series of banners as part of a larger project. They're in rainbow colours and feature an A to Z of people's memories of things that formed part of local life. They include wildlife, buildings, activities and people. A prominent theme is the dairy that used to have a huge herd of Jersey cows, and produced ice cream and yoghurt. In the 1990s, a new lectern was given in memory of George Lamb, with the older eagle lectern now living to the north side of the altar. In the early 21st century, the choir stalls were removed, along with some of the pews at the west end. New chairs were installed, giving greater flexibility. The choir stalls were recycled to create a new communion table and altar, which were installed in the church in August 2007. The communion table uses the decorative archwork from the front panels of the choir stalls, while the front of the altar incorporates the carvings from the end panels of the stalls. These are a series of traditional Christian symbols. Just before the pandemic, the vestry to the north side of the chancel was converted into a small kitchen. Like so many other churches, large and small, there's ongoing repair work that needs to be done, so fundraising is always necessary. But most of us can only dream of being in such good condition after 100 years.